has reasons, they're always looking basically,
Yeah, and I'll be in the corner waiting for you.
Go on the car.
Okay, champ, that's it. Go get him. Go, go.
All right. John, got a script? Hello, Martin. I didn't know you were coming to this one. What? I thought you were coming to the other one.
One on the fucking list, am I? Just found out.
Oh, right, you got in all right, yeah?
No, I haven't. That's why I'm coming to see you.
Okay, I'm going to make it. Can we make sure he's in?
I thought it was me plus 3 others. That's all.
Yeah,
Shall I get me
thanks
here?
so much.
Thanks
Yeah,
so much.
all right,
I'll
thanks
see
a
you
lot. Yeah.
afterwards, yeah?
Okay, yeah. Give him backstage too. Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks very much. I know it's a pain.
Thank you, man. Ian will give you the
Okay. So with you, yeah?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome live on stage Mr. Howard Marks.
You all right? Yeah? I can't see a fucking thing. Like lights kind of beaming down into the center of my head. They are a bit bright, mate. Or am I just too fucking caned? I don't know. It's like being interrogated, you know, and so all this training is to say nothing. Don't think I could get away with it. But see, a problem is, like, you know, like I do gigs. I do gigs all over the place, and sometimes I've got a clue as to what the audience might be like, you know, like it's either a students' union or an ecstasy club or something. You got a rough idea, you know. Trouble with these kind of venues, I haven't got a fucking clue, right, who's here, and I can't see a fucking thing, okay? I mean, I got no idea, right? I can't see anyone. I mean, are there any very old people here? Are there any mad mothers against dope? Any mad mothers on dope? Any plainclothes cops? No, are there any plainclothes cops here? Are there? Come on, are there? Now's your fucking chance. Go on, I fucking dare ya. Huh? Okay. Any dope smokers? Oh, thank God. Because, well, I smoke dope. I smoke as much dope as I can. I smoke the strongest dope I can. What? Sling some over there? Hey, look, man, you got to support your local dealer. Come on. Yeah. It's kind of loyalty thing. Never yet refused to spliff, joint, pipe, bong, bucket, or any of these contraptions you get up to these days? Only ever done one whitey? All right, I've crawled into bed just before it's hit, you know. It's kind of hard to learn after a while, but yeah, sure, by whitey I mean like a public whitey, you know? I mean, like, you know, sometimes when you have a whitey, that's embarrassing, like, you know, it's Only one of those ever. In fact, I might as well tell you about it, I think I thought beforehand I might tell you about it. Sometimes it was hard when you came. I know you're okay about my going off on tangents, but I think I've already forgotten the tangent to this one. Whitey's, wasn't it? Yeah, one of those I did, which I'm going to tell you about, right? They just published my book, Mr. Nice, in German. And these head shops in Austria, in Vienna in Austria, invited me to come over and help promote the book.
They had read a bit about me, heard a bit about me. Ah, that great British dope smoker, ah.
Waiting, okay? Waiting at the airport, right? With bongs, right? Full of weed, right? Waiting. It was like sort of fox hunters. You know, there he is, let's get the fuck out, you know. For 3 hours, okay? Didn't breathe in any oxygen at all.
Just bongful after bongful after bongful after bongful of mind-blowing skunk.
And collapsed. Yeah? Collapsed in front of Austrian TV cameras.
To whom I was about to extol the virtues of smoking cannabis.
That's what I mean by a white deer. One of them, only one of those. The only time I'm straight, I think, is for those first 10 seconds of every day. Don't have a problem with them at all, you know. Nothing. I wonder, of course, why do I smoke so much dope? I've thought about it a lot. Always come up with the same answer. I smoke so much dope. It's a very simple answer, actually. You know, I've tried to think of a profound one, a significant one, a meaningful one, but the truth is, I smoke so much dope because I like getting stoned. Okay? And I have tried to think of more meaningful things to say, I promise you. Been smoking dope now for a very long time. I don't know fucking how long it is. Since 1964, anyway. I've been smoking dope since then. When I was 19, right? Which is actually quite old, isn't it? To be smoking your first joint.
I mean, kids that I know, I don't just mean mine, I mean kids that I know generally have started by the time they're 19.
By no means was I ahead of any pack, right? The back of it, trying to catch up desperately, you know. A late starter, okay? All right, I have made up for it, I know, okay? But a late starter, nevertheless.
Well, see, the first joint I had, I liked it. I liked it so much that I did what I think was a natural reaction. Smoked another one, and another one, and another one.
Another one, and ended up being completely stoned.
24 hours a day. And very happy 24 hours a day.
And then searching for more dope and dope from different countries and buying weed and buying hash and trying different types of highs, different types of stones, smoking, buying more, smoking more, stoned.
Became what, well, I still don't know who I'm talking to, but became what's known as a dealer.
No, do you know what I mean? No? I mean, a dealer, quite simply, all right, is someone who buys more dope than he can smoke. Right? I mean, it applies to every dealer I know, you know, and I have to say I bought more dope than I could smoke, okay? And honestly, it's not something I'm proud of. I promise you, it's actually something I'm quite ashamed of. I was trying to smoke the fucking lot, right? I mean, that was honestly the only intention. But I bought more than I could smoke.
I failed to smoke it all, and with what I failed, I sold for money.
Which is fucking useful, right? You know? See, I come from this working class Welsh mining community, and suddenly in this aristocratic environment of the University of Oxford, hated the fuckers, right? Hated them. Wanted to stick it right up them, right? Hated the fuckers. Right? Suddenly I had as much money as they did. Fucking great, okay? Right? Social life also, getting better. Being invited to dinners and parties and events I would never have been invited to before, just because I had dope.
Oh, fuck. Are there any students here? Oh, shit. Oh, I'm sorry, but you know, I often get into trouble, not only for the things I do, but sometimes the things I say, and...
So I could be accused of giving the wrong type of career advice, yeah? You know, and so I do, you know, to cover my ass so I can continue to do shows, all right? Want to impress, make a point, there's nothing false about this. I promise you, I'm speaking the truth. To all you students here, right? Despite being completely stoned 24 hours a day, despite having a fantastic social life,
despite being richer than any other fucker, yeah, I did continue my studies. First, I got a degree in nuclear physics. Nuclear physics.
Now see, I know the authorities are fucking relieved I am not a nuclear physicist.
And we're all right about that one, you know? Especially with this war against drugs. Yeah? Not some nuclear physicist on the other side.
I mean, they've already got all the aircraft carriers, the helicopters, the rockets, the bombs, you know. We don't have anything. We don't even like fucking fighting. Are we still winning? You know? Hell, what happened if we had a few nuclear physicists? Well, fuck, can you imagine it? Fucking like falling off a log, wouldn't it? Oh, it'd be high as sky. And then I did postgraduate work to continue this impressing of the students, okay, you know. Then I did postgraduate work, okay, in philosophy of science.
And I really was at this stage smoking a fuck of a lot of dope, okay? About 20 or 30 joints, you know, like really strong hash. So we were all reading all these philosophy books, okay?
Then writing down what I thought about it, right? Again, completely stoned off my head, right? Writing down what I thought. Giving it to a supervisor who wasn't stoned, right? Who couldn't understand any of it and thought it was fucking brilliant, you know? I mean, it's just... Did that for a while, you know. But by the time I was about 25, I'd abandoned really academia and become a full-time dope dealer. Decision I haven't regretted at all. Became a full-time dope dealer. And by about the end of the 60s, I suppose, I was moving about 100 kilos a week, wholesaling, living in Notting Hill. Okay.
Now, it got bigger, I promise you, but it was still quite a lot. Definitely a dope dealer. Have you noticed, though, what sort of bad press dope dealers get these days? It's terrible PR they're getting.
Sort of, you know, and we're always trying to link them together with terrorists, okay? I mean, all right, we use the same banks, yeah, you know, but that's about it, all right? I mean, I don't know what the fuck the media are trying to make out's happening. You know, there's this old man, right, in Afghanistan, right, with a big beard, right, sitting on mountains of opium and hashish, which the Americans are bombing. And now they're going to bomb the place where the first marijuana ever grew.
What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on?
Now see, I've been to Afghanistan, not since the Taliban took over. Went there between the 60s and the 80s, a number of times. And in those days, dope dealers were beginning to be linked with terrorist activities. The war on drugs had started, from Nixon and everything, and they were beginning to link it up. And I went over there a lot of times because I hadn't wasted my time in Oxford. I had connections in places like Kabul, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Lebanon and Kenya and Thailand and Mexico and Colombia and those sort of places, connections there, And I want to try and get across as best I can what it was really like. And I don't know how much has changed, but I doubt if it's changed at all. What is really like when a dope dealer goes out east and does a dope deal with a so-called terrorist, right? Now, in order to do this, I'm going to read, because I'm not very good at remembering things. And I meant to right at the beginning, but the lights threw me a bit. Apologize for my voice, right? So I'm going to do that anyway, right?
Because you see, my lungs, right? My lungs are fucked. Okay? Completely fucked. Now, it doesn't bother me much, I don't particularly want to die with a pair of healthy, rosy red lungs,
And what this obsession is with dying healthy, Fucking mad. I hope if there is, hold on, let me listen. Could always tell a skunk if it goes out a lot, can you? But see, I think, if there is a heavenly post-mortem, right, and God comes along and cuts my chest open and pulls out my lungs, yeah, he used the fuckers, didn't he? Word wasted on him,
You see, because my lungs are a bit fucked, means my voice is fucked as well.
Right? I think it sounds shite, it's like, you can almost hear all the crystals and phlegm dribbling over the vocal cords and everything. Like a kind of Lee Marvin on acid with flu or something, Again,
it doesn't bother me that much, except when I'm talking to people, because then I feel it's disrespectful.
So I was going to apologize, and also, right, because some of you might be interested if you've got fucked up voices, the cure for it, right? Now, the cure for it is, it's hard to get, all right? You can get it in some chemists, but you can't get it around here. I've been trying today. The cure for it is cheese-linctus. You tried it, have you?
Yes, really good, isn't it? Obviously the tour isn't sponsored by cheese-linctus. It's some sort of publishing scam or something. I don't know why it's so hard to get, though. I'll demonstrate, because I'm obviously having problems finding the script.
I promise, June is not doing anything on the sound or anything, right? But just listen to the difference, right? After one sip, okay? And all I am doing is taking a sip of cheese-linctus, right? Already, I think, right? The voice is more articulate.
Everything like that, totally understandable, every syllable quite clear.
Is it not better after one sip? I take the second sip, partly to enhance the improvement brought about by the first sip, but also to reduce the probability of having a coughing fit, right?
I've had them on stage twice, and although they're quite funny for the first 10 or 20 seconds, after 20 minutes, people start wanting their money back and stuff like that. Kind of hassle.
The third sip gets you completely off your tits. Got all the signs there, right? Beware of blurry vision.
Do not operate heavy machinery. Do not exceed the stated dose. If you see those three things on anything, buy it, okay? It's guaranteed.
Oh, the other thing. See, sometimes I do this sketch by myself, And sometimes my Afghan connection, Salim Malik, if he's in town or anything like that, comes along and just does his part, okay?
Today, I promise you, he was having passport problems. He was. If he's here, he'll come in now, after this line.
I'd like to introduce you to my connection in Afghanistan, Salim Malik. Malik and I were driving on poor roads through the foothills of the Himalayas, towards the border of Afghanistan and Pakistan, the Khyber Pass.
I saw and smelt fields of marijuana. Suddenly, a large 5-foot-long prehistoric-looking lizard
Ambled across the road in front of us and disappeared into a marijuana bush. The car screamed to a halt, and Malik pointed and yelled, "Crow! Crow!" "What is it?"
It is Crow, Mr. Nice. Crow is burglar's best friend.
"A burglar's best friend? What do you mean?"
You want to come to my brother's cousin, Mr. Nice? I will show you.
"Yes, please." I was just in the mood for adventures with burglars, friends, and brother cousins. We stopped outside some old dusty yellow buildings. An old man dressed in colorful rags came out through a hole in the wall and grunted at Malik.
This is Muhammad, Mr. Nice. He is pleased to meet you, Mr. Nice, and wishes you all of God's blessings.
The two babbled away in some unknown tongue, and then beckoned me into a walled courtyard full of lizards, crows, of all sizes.
At a signal from Mohammed, one of the Pakistani workers caught hold of a large lizard by its tail, body slammed the lizard against the high wall,
And let go. The crow stuck to the vertical wall. The Pakistani climbed up the vertical crow as if it was a ladder.
I was just beginning to understand how a crow could be a burglar's best friend, but still found it hard to do housebreaking with a giant lizard.
Desperately needed a joint. We checked into Flashman's Hotel, Rawalpindi. I asked Malik, when do we actually go into Afghanistan?
My family have just left a message through my Peshwari Nan to say they will be most honored to receive a visit in 1 or 2 days. But first, please, to give me passport photograph. Just wear open neck casual shirt, no jacket, no tie. You will now be a member of my tribe, the Afridi. That is what your passport will say.
The next day, Malik and I drove for several hours through the northwest frontier province until we came to Peshawar, where we stopped for a cup of tea in the middle of an arms bazaar, which also repaired ghetto blasters and air conditioning units.
Driving towards the Khyber Pass, we passed through Landi Katal. A Pakistani policeman stopped us at a primitive border post and examined our passports. No words were exchanged.
100 yards later, we came across another border post. This was manned by fierce, heavily armed Afridi, Malik's tribe. Each one of them knew Malik. We were transferred to a jeep and tore off up a mountain track. I asked Malik, are we in Afghanistan now?
If you look at Atlas in London Bookshop, Mr. Nice, it will say you are in Afghanistan. But there is no border. These Afridi peoples have lived here in the mountains for centuries. The mountains are theirs. The Afridi have been called many different names by the West. Indians, Afghans, Pakistanis, Russians, and even British. But this is bullshit. They have always been Afridi. We are Afridi, both sides of the mountain that you call Afghan-Pakistan border.
Eventually we came to a large wooden fort, the inside of which was devoted to the manufacture of hashish. Goat skins full of unpressed hashish were piled up wherever I looked, ready to be pummeled, heated, and turned into a piping hot, dark brown goo.
This change in molecular structure enabled the plant's full psychoactive potential to be realized. Smoking the unpressed stuff straight out of a goat skin simply didn't work.
When the goo became thin enough, it was placed in wooden molds, each shaped to hold approximately half a kilo. My chosen stamp was embossed on each slab as the goo was hardening. The slab contracted as it cooled and almost jumped out of the mold. A sample had been placed in a hookah pipe, which was now ceremoniously offered to me.
The majesty of the mountains, high altitude, the culture shock, and the reverse Clinton phenomenon of inhaling without smoking was going to get me stoned, whatever I smoked.
Still, maybe I could get more stoned. And one can tell a lot from the taste. So I sucked in a couple of lungfuls, I got more stoned, and I liked the taste. All eyes were on me.
Shall I say it's fantastic? Or say it's not bad? Say it's worth every penny of the $2 million I had just blagged off some American dealers?
Or say it's camel shit, and they better come up with better. I took another drag and held out my hand to Malik.
You are satisfied, Mr. Nice?
Very. On the drive back to Landi Kotal, I asked Malik whether or not the people in the hashish factory knew that hashish was illegal in the West.
They would not know the meaning of such a question. They are honorable business. The only law here is law of nature, not law of rich man. By law of nature, I do not mean law of jungle, like your 10 commandments. Even if marijuana or Benson and hashish come here, they will not get past the policeman. Believe me, Mr. Nice, you are the first man who is not Afridi to come to this hashish factory. Afridi only deal with people they know. It is Mr. Nice, not marijuana or Benson and hashish they will sell to. They will give to Mr. Nice best hashish. They will guarantee Mr. Nice safe export of hashish from Afghanistan. Now please, Mr. Nice, do the needful.
So I went to get the 2 millions to pay Malik.
I got his hashish. I packaged as hashish. You're nicked.
I found
That in the United States, unless one was absolutely innocent as the driven snow, and could prove it without the remotest shadow of doubt,
one would get convicted. The only guaranteed way to avoid the resulting heavy prison sentence was to become a grass,
a snitch, a snake, a chivato, a turner, a rollover, a stool pigeon, a squealer, a rat, a traitor, a wrong-un, a cunt,
a Judas,
and lie at the bottom of Dante's hell for all eternity.
and never again be able to look your parents or your children in the eyes. I was completely surrounded by proud, self-confessed grasses
that had agreed to testify against their business partners and friends in return for lesser prison sentences.
Each had his own pathetic justification. He'd been ripped off.
It wasn't his fault he'd been busted.
He had told all the others to stop. He knew it was all on top. He couldn't stay in prison for years. It wouldn't be fair to his kids. Anyway, everyone would have to become a grass soon. There was no other way.
The American war against drugs was fulfilling its most sinister agenda.
Loyalties to families and friends have to be replaced.
Loyalty to our God's own country.
Forget your personalized, individualized ethics and obey the laws and regulations of our country. God bless America.
Enjoy yourself. Watch as much television as possible.
Practice using your firearms. Enjoy yourself.
But enjoy yourselves our way.
For if you don't enjoy yourselves our way, we'll kill you. I had been grassed up by my own good friend, my brother-in-law, the person after whom I'd named my dear son Patrick.
Where was all that loyalty, unity, faith, trust, camaraderie, and romance?
Where had it gone? Was it all bullshit? Yeah, of course it was. We weren't the mafia. We weren't the IRA.
We weren't even Robin Hood and his fucking merry men.
We were just easygoing guys that took the easy way out when the rest of the world seemed to go mad and ruthless.
Alcatraz, Sing Sing, San Quentin, they weren't meant for the likes of us, were they?
See, we all have our breaking points, okay? Each one of us here tonight has his or her breaking point. Now put a gun to the head of one of my children, and I'll tell you all I know.
But threaten me with a prison term, no matter how long, and I will tell you to fuck right off.
The United States Penitentiary, with the worst reputation for slaughter and gang rape, was at Terre Haute, Indiana. Known as Terre Haute, it was America's gladiator school and provided an arena for tough, redneck United States government hacks.
Leaders of black inner-city gangs such as the Blackstone Rangers, the Bloods, and the Crips.
Presidents of rival biker gangs such as the Hells Angels and the Outlaws, and random psychopaths. Half of those imprisoned there would never ever be released.
Being Welsh, I could avoid most conflict by being nice, charming, and eccentric.
But never felt stoned or safe. Every prisoner has to work, and I was given the job of teaching English grammar
to prisoners studying for the General Education Diploma, GED.
On my first day, I faced a classroom of 17 young blacks, most of whom were looking at the rest of their lives behind bars. I was scared, shit scared. But I applied the usual rule. Never ever show your fear.
Oh, hello. My name's Howard Marks. I hope to be able to help you study for the English grammar section of the GED exam.
Hey! I ain't trying to learn no motherfucking thing from no motherfucking cracker.
There ain't nothing no fucking white dude can teach me nothing.
Said T-Bone Taylor. Cop killer and second in charge of Chicago's most powerful gang, the Vice Lords. Hey, teach! Oh, look, T-Bone, you don't have to call me Teach. Call me Howard, please.
Teach. I said teach. Teach.
You want to teach? Teach. I'll call you Teach. Teach.
Yeah, that's okay. You can call me anything you like. I don't mind.
Teach. What gives you the motherfucking right to teach me English? Well, I am English, T-Bone. I was lying, okay? I'm Welsh, for fuck's sake, right? But honestly, he wouldn't have known what he meant. You know, he'd never have heard of Wales or Welsh or anything. So I just pretended I was English, okay? Teach is you saying that just because you's English, that makes you speak better English than us niggas here?
Well, yeah, of course. We invented the language, T-Bone.
We has our own language, Teach. Yeah, I accept that. I accept that, T-Bone, and it's no better or worse than English. But if you want to pass this English examination, I honestly want to help you. What motherfucking use is English going to be to me, Teach? I'm trying to be disrespecting your language or dissing you, but no motherfucking thing. But I ain't trying to be no writer, Teach. I ain't trying to be no writer.
Well, I ain't seeing the streets again, Teach. This motherfucking US government got us homeboys here till we die, Teach.
And you know what, Teach? If it weren't for you motherfucking honkies, we wouldn't be here.
Our ancestors was brung here against their wills in chains.
Yeah, I know. I know. But so was I. So was I.
I was brought over here against my will in chains. And you know who brought me over, T-Bone? You know who brought me over? A black United States Marshal. T-Bone stood up. What the fuck is you saying, Teach?
Look, you know what I'm saying. Whoever we are, and whoever we got you, we all want to get out. Look, I've only just got into this system, but I've already worked out that there's only 3 ways out of here. One, you pay a lawyer a few $1 million, which none of us have, officially. You know.
Try to go for the fence and give some United States lunatic some target practice. Or you write your way out. Look, most of us got more time than we deserve. I know that some of you shouldn't ever have been convicted.
I know the United States government lied and cheated about how much dope you did so they could bang you up forever. I know blacks get hit harder than whites. I know. There's a lot of people out there who want to put a stop to this United States government racial harassment.
A lot more people out there don't know what's happening. Even the judges wouldn't believe what's going on.
Now it's only judges and some other powerful individuals can change things. And I don't mean to be dissing you about anything either. But most of you couldn't even write a letter that these guys could understand.
And they're the only ones that can get you out of this shit. T-Bone, don't tell me you're gonna lie down and take it that easy. 'Cause I ain't.
I meant it when I said I was brought over here in chains against my will. I was brought over here, not my ancestor. The United States Drug Enforcement Administration came to our house in Europe, took me and my old lady, put us in chains, and dragged us over here, leaving our 3 children without a mum or dad. T-Bone, I hear them crying every night.
T-Bone, I hate your fucking government.
Your fucking government more than you ever could.
Okay, Teach, chill out. Chill out.
Chill out, Teach. You ain't a bad dude. Okay, Teach. Teach us some of that motherfucking white rap. Go on, Teach.
Sure. Now, why did you guys decide to speak English rather than Spanish, Portuguese, or French? Those guys fucked you around as much as we did.
Yeah, teach, why do we speak English? Give it to us straight. Because you have good taste. Now, okay, you gave us the music. I accept you guys gave us the music. But we gave you the fucking lyrics.
Start with punctuation marks. Do you know what they are?
That's a period, teach. And suddenly this huge Rastafarian posse member, massive guy, all right, dreads down to his ass, huge fucking guy, stood up, towered over everyone. Wapen him, teach. Wapen him. Wapen him, teach. Him say period. Me say full stop. A Jamaica ma come from.
In a Jamaica, period mean bitch, bleeding.
Head of the Department of Education summoned me to the next room. Marks, you're teaching GED, right? Yeah, that's right. You don't appear to have one. One what?
A GED, Marks. I have no record whatsoever of you having a GED or even a high school diploma.
Well, I don't have either, that's right. Well, Marks, the powers that be might consider it somewhat inappropriate for a prisoner without a GED to be teaching other prisoners how to get one. See what I'm driving at? Yeah, but I've got a master's degree.
Marks, there are plenty of people that have a master's degree who can't teach GED. The haircutting school in this prison gives master's degrees to people who can't read.
Yeah, but I got my master's degree at Oxford. Oxford, Wisconsin? Who's your inmate supervisor there, Marks? No, not Oxford, Wisconsin prison. The University of Oxford in England. Well, no disrespect, Marks, but the United States government is a bit wary of foreign qualifications. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back on stage Mr. Howard Marks.
You're all right? Got everything you need? Nearly okay. Well, as you can see, I got out of prison much sooner than I thought, and was instantly rehabilitated. Okay.
Completely rehabilitated by $100,000 check from the publishers to write the book.
I'm sure anyone can get rehabilitated with a $100,000 check coming out of prison, but the book was more successful than I could ever have conceivably imagined. So I was asked to write another one, which I kind of did almost, but it's not all my writing, it's partly mine and mainly other people's writing on dope.
Which turned out to be even harder work than doing Mr. Nice, because I had to read all this stuff that other people had done. But in the back of my mind, I was looking for the perfect description of the perfect pothead, right? The perfect description of the perfect head.
And found what I think is a perfect description of a perfect head. Written by a guy called Robert Sabag, who also wrote Snowblind, which perhaps I think some of you might have read. He also wrote another one called Smokescreen, from which I nicked this bit, okay?
Now the name of this head, okay? The name of this head is Reed. Not weed, Reed.
Reed was a head who, at length and unapologetically, could provide poetic discourse on
the energy, the magic, the beauty of the herb.
and mean it. Reed was a smoker who had started smuggling pot because he got tired of looking for it.
Feeling quite emphatically that it should be in hand when you need it, Reed was literally religious on the subject.
To Reed, marijuana was not a mere article of faith.
To Reed, marijuana was the faith itself.
All the money Reed made smuggling herb, he reinvested in smuggling more.
The millions never had a chance to catch up with him. He was always too busy working.
Reed, like other smugglers, lavished disposable income on cars and boats, but only on those in which he could haul marijuana.
Where another scammer might seek joy in the extravagance of a platinum Rolex, an indigo blue Maserati,
or a house with 8 bathrooms on the rim of Red Mountain, Reed would be quite happy if I could keep enough smoke around me.
dope will get me through times of no money. Better than money will get me through time of no dope.
It was smoke, no doubt, that had led Reed to his appreciation of the transmigration of souls.
Reed believed that he had been a great warrior in a previous life, and he took pride in the fact that at the coming of age in his present life, he had never inflicted harm on anyone.
Many lifetimes I had to be a warrior. I always had the build for it. I always had the instincts. But this time around, with my body strength and knowledge, I just manipulate them. I don't hurt them. That's what marijuana did for me. It turned my warriorness into peace.
Reed was a warlord who had established his kingdom securely in the realm of the ethereal, and to achieve the celestial precincts thereof,
Reed followed his very own unique path. The journey began with his laying hands on the highest grade ganja any man could possibly score,
and rolling a joint the size of a prairie dog.
Reed would soak the joint in Afghani hash oil, a bottle of which he always kept handy,
and hang the joint in the sun to dry on a laundry line outside the kitchen.
Picking it at just the right moment, Reed would fire it up and smoke it until nothing but ash remained. That was how Reed started his day.
For anyone smoking with him, it signaled the end of the day. Now, the other thing I did when I come out of prison was I promised myself to do whatever the fuck I could to legalize marijuana.
No, it's lovely to hear the applause, but it's honestly totally inappropriate. I haven't fucking got anywhere, right? Okay.
Anne Widdecombe, did more than I did, and she's on the other side, kind of.
I haven't got anywhere, right? Failed. But see, I was a failure as a dope smuggler too, right? I mean, I know I stand up here making money showing off about it, but
Okay, good dope smugglers don't get caught. No one knows who they are, right? I got caught loads of fucking times and every fucker knows who I am. I'm not the good dope smuggler. Failure. Failed to legalize it, right?
I promise you I have done my best in my own tin pot way, okay? I mean, stood for Parliament, right? Stood for Parliament and everything.
Lost my deposit even, in each of the 4 constituencies.
Started skinning up inside police stations and things. Didn't get anywhere there, and even applied for the position of drug czar.
Thought it would be a sensible move from a drugs baron to a drug czar. Kind of seemed the right way to go. Didn't get it.
But see, with all this smoking of dope and dealing of dope and smuggling of dope and writing about dope and trying to legalize dope, right, a huge burning curiosity has welled up, okay, inside me for decades.
And that is why. Why was marijuana, cannabis, hashish, why was it made illegal in the first place?
Because see, for 86 million years, it was legal. Right? For 86 million years, no country, culture, community, or society had any problem with marijuana. It's only in the last 100 years, 86 million years, a long fucking time, right?
Now you see, like, being this age, you know, I find that I'm getting older. I'm becoming more of a traditionalist, right? A respecter and admirer of ancient traditions. And I wonder, what the fuck could have been so hardcore enough to stop an 86 million year tradition?
Well, it's got to be something fairly hardcore, right? Something significant, okay? So I did my best to try to find out. I entertained every conceivable hypothesis, theory as to why marijuana, cannabis, hashish was made illegal. Thought about every possible explanation.
Now, before I go any further, because I still can't see a thing and I don't want to offend anyone in any sort of way whatsoever, and it really isn't up to me to sit in any sort of judgment on what psychoactive drugs you decide to take, if any.
Right? I don't give a fuck, right? I honestly don't. I only care that you don't get banged up for taking it, right? That's my only care. And I don't want to start telling you which drugs are good drugs and which drugs are bad drugs.
You see, now the alcohol industry, right? I mean, do you think it's possible that they might have made it illegal? What if it was legal or remained legal? It would become the drug of choice for society rather than alcohol.
Because see, again, not wishing to offend, but alcohol is bad for you, right? No, it is, all right? It's addictive, all right? It's got a huge margin of abuse, much more than that of cannabis. But see, every stoner I know likes to get pissed as well. Right? I do. Mm-hmm. Cheers, See, I drink as well, right?
I mean, all right, I was showing off a bit, like, no, I can come quicker than that.
But I do drink, and I'm not a lush or an alcoholic or a dipso or anything. I mean,
I get drunk about once a day.
though in Spain I get drunk about twice a day, but I think that's because of the siesta or something. They kind of something to do with that, I think.
Honestly, every day, you know, I notice that, today included, I notice myself walking past a pub or a bar and a feeling coming over me, right? You know, which I can identify, a very familiar feeling.
I want to go into that pub, right, and drink a pint of shite lager, okay? And that's what I want to do. Right? I don't go into the pub because the landlord probably won't let me skin up. right? So I don't go in. Now see, if only that landlord knew, right? If only that landlord knew that skunk makes you far thirstier than a packet of crisps, right?
And I think the alcohol industry are hip to that sort of thing. They know if cannabis was legalized, we would just all go in there, smoke a load of skunk and drink a load of shite lager.
I don't think they're the problem at all. And see, well, I mean, cannabis and alcohol coexist quite happily. In my mind, for sure, you know. And well, I suppose there is that whitey thing, and getting back to that again. You know what I mean? If you drink a hell of a lot and smoke a lot of skunk, it does increase the chance of a whitey. But apart from that little whitey bit, all right? I mean, seems all right to me, the combination, you know.
And see, again, not wishing to offend, all right? But alcohol, in particular, red wine, was a chosen sacrament, right? The chosen psychoactive sacrament
of two of the world's greatest religions, Judaism and Christianity. Christ, okay, his last meal on earth, Last Supper, took some red wine, probably didn't drink it down in one, I shouldn't think, you know, but I don't know. But took some red wine, okay, sipped it, and said, do this in remembrance of me. Right? Now, look what the fucking church, right? Look what the fucking church has done with that.
A thimbleful, right? A thimbleful of shite wine, right? Once a week, right? That fucking disrespect, isn't it?
Obviously, one's meant to drink a lot of red wine, I think, and get pissed and see God. You know? So, I don't think it's the alcohol industry. No, it's not them behind this. I don't think it's them that's maintaining the illegality of cannabis. What about the tobacco industry? Has anyone thought about tobacco for a bit, right? Just for a few seconds, right? Tobacco. Bad for you? No. Kills you. Yeah.
Addictive. Doesn't even get you stoned. Now imagine, right? Trying to sell something that is bad for you, kills you, is addictive, and doesn't even get you stoned, right?
I mean, I never had to face those kind of difficulties, right? So I'm thinking, fucking hats off to them, man, you know, they can fucking sell that shit to that extent. Fucking talent there must be in that marketing department. Well fucking done, man, you know. Need people like that to run the country and things, don't they? You know, it's fucking well done. And see, I put tobacco in my joints. Most of my mates do. Not all of them, but I do. Well, even some of my mates who live in Jamaica, right?
Something about the mixture of tobacco and weed that either gives it a better taste or different high or some sort of preference. Anyway, it doesn't really matter.
And see, if they did legalize cannabis, then probably more people would consume it because those who don't want to do anything illegal could then do it. And some of them, I'm sure, will put tobacco in their joints, and so the tobacco industry will sell more tobacco. So I don't think they got any. I don't think they got anything to lose, I was going to say, but I just thought of something then, right? No, I don't know. I don't do it anymore now, but I used to loads and loads of times, and I can't understand why I hadn't thought of it. You know, have you ever done the following? Right, I'm going to give up tobacco and only smoke joints. Right? Yeah. Fucking fatal, isn't it? I mean, have you ever known it work? You know. Got it first day, you skunked out your head. I got this one licked. You know. No, I don't think it's the tobacco industry either. No.
More justification, perhaps, it might be the pharmaceutical industry, the chemical industry.
Well, see, let's think about the pharmaceutical industry, the chemical industry. what do? Expend capital, skill, effort, money in laboratories, making, synthesizing and discovering chemicals that other people want to take. I got no problem with that. None at all. Cheese-linctus would be an example, wouldn't it? You know, I mean, in fact, I don't mind admitting that I have taken chemicals that have come from street laboratories, right, and had the time of my fucking life, right? So I got nothing against what they're doing. But see, the way they make their big money is by patenting what they synthesize, and they can't patent marijuana, cannabis, hashish, because God or nature or some equally heavy entity got there first, right?
But see, it's getting to like conspiracy theory shit, isn't it? And I fucking hate conspiracy theories. I can't entertain them in my head for too long. Probably because I was trained as a postgraduate, as a philosopher of science. Taught that if anything is untestable, it's completely unscientific bullshit. So forget about it. And conspiracy theories can't be testable, and they're usually bollocks. And well, I just wasn't happy with that.
Mind, I've fallen for some conspiracy theories in my time. Not so much thinking about this, and I won't go off. Well, I did fall for one thinking about this, actually, which I don't mind admitting, because I only fell for it for about a week, okay? But, well, for a whole week, actually. For a whole week, right? For a whole week, I thought that the reason why marijuana was illegal was due to the actions of the synthetic fiber industry. No, that it all worked out there, right? You know, like sometime in the 1920s, you know, these guys invent these plastics and synthetic fibers, right? Which obviously no fucker's interested in, because they can get the real stuff from plants, you know, so fuck off, you know, like. So they think, how can we make these people buy these synthetic fibers? Oh, I know. We'll pretend that hemp, marijuana, is like a devil weed or something, you know, bad for you. Oh, yeah. Then they got to buy the plastic. You know. That's what I was thinking. So you thought that, fucking hell, I'm onto something now, you know, like. I'd go out to dinner with people, and honestly, it must have been such a pain in the arse when I think of it, but it was only a week. And I said,
look, you do realize, don't you, that the first sail on the first sailboat ever was made from hemp, cannabis. The first sail on the first sailboat.
The first rope, cannabis. The first twine, cannabis. The first thread, cannabis. And the first paper from cannabis.
The first book, cannabis. And I would get so off on it that I would say, you understand that without cannabis, there would never ever have been a single voyage of discovery, or literature, or any civilization worth a fuck.
That bad one. Then suddenly woke up and thought, what the fuck am I trying to convince myself of here? That I can't smoke dope because the synthetic fiber industry doesn't want me to? Fuck them. Mine, in prison, okay? In prison, I did end up knowing why marijuana, cannabis, hashish is illegal.
It was those fucking American Puritans.
Those fuckers, right? Those brutal, barbaric, bullying bastards. Mind, I was banged up in an American prison, right? You know, and could have coloured my attitude a bit, I know, all right? But that's what I sincerely thought at the time, okay? Because see, American Puritanism, best defined, funnily enough, I think, by an American writer, Emerson.
Emerson defined American Puritanism as that haunting fear that somebody, somewhere, might be happy.
They don't like it, okay? Makes them itchy if you get high. Right? Now, I understand and sympathize with them, right? I fucking hate it if someone is higher than I am.
Very uncomfortable in that situation. I call that feeling envy, but know that I'm a nice enough guy not to want to bring that person down. I'm just desperate for some of the same shit to get up there too.
But these American Puritans, no. They don't want to get up there too. They just want to bring you down. They think there is something wrong, something evil about changing the state of your mind through chemical means. Changing the state of your mind. Maybe they don't like that. Maybe it's wrong to change the state of one's mind. Is it? Do they care about changing our state of mind? Are they doing this to protect us? I don't think so, because apparently it's quite legal for me to go to the top of Big Ben and look at the floor and think, yes, I'd like to dive head first onto that floor and change the state of my mind. I'll just check first if it's legal. Yes. I can bungee jump, I can skydive, I can hang glide, I can tear around the fucking world in a little bit of tin. But I mustn't change the state of my mind through chemicals, through drugs, because drugs are bad for you, bad for society.
I know that none of you expect me to say this, right? But I have been a multi-drug user and abuser for several decades. I do know what the fuck I'm talking about. And they are right. The American Puritans are right.
Drugs do make people irrational. Okay? Drugs make people irrational. Trust me, okay? Drugs do make people irrational. Especially those people who don't take them. I mean, have you heard the shit they talk?
But seriously, of course, sincerely, none of the above could possibly be the reason why marijuana, cannabis, hashish is illegal.
So when I got let out of prison, I could research the matter more efficiently. I could surf the net and go to university libraries and things like that, and finally found out for sure, without a doubt, precisely when, why, where, how hashish was made illegal.
It was made illegal in this country, all of Europe and most of the world in 1928. 1928, that's when that 86 million year tradition took a U-turn.
Where? Funnily enough, at the only place I've ever done a whitey, right? Vienna, okay? Should have fucking realized at the time, when I should have got that subliminal message, man, there's something fucked up about this place. But no. Vienna, right? At a conference entitled the League of Nations, that's the old name for the United Nations, yeah? The League of Nations Second Opium Conference. Mobile, answer it, it could be a dealer, mate. I don't want to get in the way of that for a fucking second. Mobiles are allowed to be answered in these sort of things. At a conference held by the League of Nations entitled the League of Nations Second Opium Conference.
Now, as you might infer, the League of Nations Second Opium Conference was convened to discuss what some countries, what some members of the League of Nations thought was a problem of opium use among its immigrant populations.
Basically, to summarize, a bunch of Chinese, okay, had gone over to America to build the railroads, okay, took loads of opium with them, right, did an excellent job of building the railroads, but got well off their tits, right, on the opium. The Yanks couldn't handle it, right, and convened this series of conferences in Vienna, okay? But at the end, right, the end of the second opium conference, they made both the trade and consumption of opium illegal.
Be that as it may, but during the deliberations of the League of Nations Second Opium Conference, the delegate from Egypt, one Mohammed El-Gwindi, jumped up and said, look, if you are going to make opium illegal, then you must make hashish illegal too.
Now, you can probably imagine, yeah, what sort of guys were delegates for the League of Nations in the 1920s, okay? Not your regular bunch of caners, right, for sure. I mean, like, really straight guys, okay? Scratching their heads, right? Hashish? 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 None of them had a fucking clue, right? What this Egyptian was talking about, right?
But they were responsible delegates in their own way. So they called upon Mohammed El-Gwindi, the delegate from Egypt, and said, please stand up and tell us, explain to the world effectively. Please explain to the world precisely what hashish is and why it should be made illegal.
I would very much like to read out what he said, all right, for two reasons. One, the more important one, it's fucking hilarious, right? I mean, it really is very entertaining.
Secondly, more seriously, but not more importantly, you see, I've tried to debate this legalization issue as often as I can.
I've challenged everyone from Tony Blair, Jack Straw. Do you go upwards or downwards from that pair of pricks? I can never work it out, but fucking Jack Straw, man. No, see, I particularly, sorry, tangent now, right? But like, I particularly dislike Jack Straw for the following reasons. Not just because I lost as an MP. I know that. I didn't take that badly or anything. I was pleased to see Labour come in. I mean, I come from a part of the world where, you know, if there was a pig on acid standing against a Tory guy, there'd be no doubt who to vote for. You'd vote for the pig on acid every time. You wouldn't have to fucking think about it, right? So, like, I was quite glad to see Labour getting in and thinking, with some reason, thinking that they might do something sensible about drug legalization, okay? Just thinking they might. And fucking Jack Straw then, coming with all that bollocks, all right? And then I noticed his name spelled backwards is Warts. I changed my name for far less reason than that. Of course, he's not Home Secretary now, is he? I don't know why the fuck I'm talking about him. No, he's Foreign Secretary now, isn't he? He is, isn't he? No, he is, I know, because like, oh no, I'm going off on a tangent now, but honestly, this is so fucking funny, I'm going to do it, all right? Like, it's right now, Jack Straw now, right, is Foreign Secretary, isn't he? Representing us to the rest of the world in these very troubled times, yeah? I got the right guy now, have I? I'm not off on a spit right. Now, I heard, right, him say this on the radio a few months ago, but I didn't want to talk about it because I couldn't believe he'd said it, and I wanted to check that he actually had said it. So now I can repeat what he says because I couldn't dare do it without checking it, right? Obviously. And this is actually what Jack Straw said, right? Osama bin Laden. It's great to have the way silence always follows that name, isn't it? Osama bin Laden
is clearly very psychotic and extremely paranoid. Now see, to me, paranoid means thinking a lot of people are trying to get you when they are not.
So like, if there's anyone in the world, and he might be the only person in the world, right, who could not possibly be diagnosed as paranoid, right, by anyone ever, right, it's Bin Laden, right? And see, even the first bit, like, even that first bit of what he said, clearly very psychotic. Now, if you're psychotic, it means you're mad, right? Not bad. Like, my lungs are, fucked up. If you're psychotic, your brain's fucked up in some sort of way, right? You can go and get it treated. It's not your fault. Something wrong with you, you can go and get it treated.
So if Bin Laden was arrested here tonight, I mean, he would get nutted off right away, okay? There's no way he's going to the Nick, okay? He's going to get nutted off. It's not his fault. He's only going to go to hospital to be made better. Anyone starts arguing with him, he's going to say, no, ask Jack Straw.
I mean, what a twat. Anyway, sorry, but I have challenged them all, right, to debate against me. I've said, choose any forum you want. Right? Choose any audience you want. Have as much media publicity, coverage as you want. Please give me as much strong dope as you want before the debate.
Please allow me to chain smoke strong joints during the debate. I don't insist on it, but if possible, I prefer it. And I guarantee, okay, guarantee with everything that I hold dear, that I would destroy any argument they would present for maintaining the illegality of cannabis within seconds.
So could any fucker. So could anyone. I don't have any skill in debating, all right? Anyone could destroy any of those fuckers within seconds. So that's why they don't even hold a debate.
Now, see, the problem is I'm Welsh, okay? Okay? And see, Welsh are born genetically infused with this sense of fair play.
Fair play. Everything has to be fair play, right? Can't help it. It's got to be fair play, otherwise fuck it, right? And if none of those fuckers will debate against me, and the challenge is open every second of every day. If none of the fuckers will debate against me, because of this genetic Welsh thing of fair play, I feel an obligation, right? An obligation to present their case, the case for the prohibition of cannabis, the case for maintaining its illegality, as best and as articulately as I possibly can.
And I can't do any better than read out what this fucking Egyptian said, right? Because it's the worst thing that's ever been said about hashish. And the reason it was made and stays illegal. Can't be fairer than that, can I?
The only problem is, all right, and I don't expect much sympathy from it. I really sort of just ask for some indulgence, I suppose. But, well, you've heard the show so far, right? You must have realised that I'm shite at doing accents, okay? I mean, I can wing a couple, but I'm like, it's not one of my skills. I'm shite at doing it. And I can't do an Egyptian accent, right? I can't. No, I have tried, honestly. I promise you I have fucking tried. I've listened to cassettes in the car. I've gone out drinking with Egyptians. I've gone to Egyptian restaurants. I take this whole job seriously. I've tried the best I fucking can, and I cannot imitate an Egyptian accent, okay? Now, see, I imagine some of you are thinking, oh, well, what the fuck, just carry on and read it anyway. But see, the problem is, particularly see when these fucking cameras and all this shit are around, right? Okay? Well, I'm not making any accusations now at all, all right? But sometimes some of the people who come to my shows are stoned, right? Okay?
And they've sat down and seen me on the stage, right? Recognized me, heard my voice, recognized it, and
heard me saying all this shite stuff about hashish, right? I go, what the fuck have you brought me along here for? Said this guy was cool and everything, and on our side, I mean, what the fuck is he, a born-again prohibitionist? He's just like all the other old wankers. Fuck him, let's go. See, I can't begin to risk that drop in street credibility, okay? I can't begin to risk it, okay? The other thing is, with all these fucking cameras and newspaper reporters and all that thing, you know, they'll say, last night at Shepherd's Bush Empire, Howard Marks said, and then fucking quote from here, right? They will, they can't, honestly, they do that sort of shit, right? You know, last night, Howard Marks publicly admitted that they do that shit, right? So it is a genuine problem, all right? And of course, there's the security service training I have and cameras and this, you know, it's hard, all right? There's only one way I found through it. And, you know, again, I emphasize I don't want to insult or offend, but the only way I've found of doing it, and I know it makes it look like a childish pantomime thing, but the only way I found out is when I read out what this Egyptian said, I wear a red fez, okay? See, you can see the sense of it, right? Because I'm the camera. And see, whatever you read about a quotation, right, just check, was I wearing a red fez? If I was wearing a red fez, fucking forget it, right? Okay?
You understand, right? I mean, this Red Fez is... Oh, fuck! I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize. I'm sorry, but it's hard to do this stuff for the cane, and you do make mistakes sometimes, and I made a mistake, all right? I'm sorry.
When the Red Fez, right? No, wait, now I've got to explain something, right? Otherwise I won't get it right. I fucked up once, okay? Like, when the red fez is on my head, the words coming out to me will be the words of the Egyptian, right? Yeah? When the red fez is off my head, fuck a fez, I'm off my head. The red fez is off my head. I think it's the fucking mushrooms, actually. Like, I'm partly sweating a bit, and this fucking thing just turned into a toadstool and started speaking in an Egyptian accent. No, I want to avoid it. I'm used to this fucking state. Don't worry about it. If you can't do it when you're off your head, you shouldn't be fucking doing it at all, should you? Suspect it if you can't do it when you're stoned. Change your career. Okay, I get it right now, I'm sorry, right? When the red fez is on my head, the words coming out of me will be the Egyptian. When the red fez is off my head, the words coming out of me will be my words, okay? I put the red fez on my head. I had quite a long discussion about my security training and how that necessitated my putting a fez on my head and talking about whether I looked good or not with this wonderful person over there. And obviously the Egyptian didn't say anything like that, did he? You know? You did notice I made a mistake. Explaining this way. All right, I won't fuck up again. I promise I won't, all right? I promise not to fuck up again. And what I'm going to do, all right, is like put the red fez on my head, and in case you've forgotten, read out what the Egyptian delegate Mohammed El-Gwindi, all right, said at the League of Nations Second Opium Conference in the 20s, okay? When asked the question, what precisely is hashish and why hashish should be made illegal, okay? Oh, fuck, I just realized now. I got a bit of whiskey, which is why I reached for this bottle, obviously, but I had this other gag about, you know when I did that alcohol thing? Remember when I talked about the beer and the wine and that? I had this other, like, funny thing to say about whiskey as well, and I was going to take a slug of that, and I completely fucking forgot it. I don't even fucking remember it now. Sorry, no more fuck-ups, right? I know I didn't break the promise, right, because I didn't put the fez on, but you saw, because I.
Hashish is the most dangerously toxic substance. Hashish is a deadly poison against which no effective antidote has ever been discovered.
No, look, you mustn't laugh, because, like, this was in the 1920s, and they probably hadn't even discovered sugar puffs, you know what I mean? Okay?
They thought the munchies was a disease.
I got it worked out over this first thing. Users of hashish suffer from one of two serious medical conditions. One, acute hashism.
Two, chronic hashism.
Acute hashism occurs when the consumer uses hashish irregularly and occasionally, taken in the smallest possible doses.
Taken in the smallest possible doses, hashish immediately brings a feeling of dizziness,
Giddiness, oppression, and discomfort. There follows a kind of hilarious and noisy delirium in persons of a cheerful disposition. But the acute hashish delirium takes a violent form in persons of violent character.
The acute hashish delirium is followed by a sedated and hypnotic slumber, continually broken and disturbed by terrifying and frightening nightmares.
Hashish absorbed in larger doses
produces a serious, furious, and powerful delirium, accompanied by strong physical agitation.
No, I think he was thinking about coke then, wasn't he? He'd got them, kind of got them mixed up a bit there, hadn't he, I think? It predisposes to acts of violence in people of all characters, and a large enough dose
invariably produces a most characteristic strident laugh.
Yeah, you got to give him that one, really, haven't you? Fair play, like that. This condition is followed by a veritable stupor, which cannot be called sleep. Great fatigue is felt on awakening, and the feelings of depression and misery last for several days.
Habitual use of hashish quickly brings on the condition known as chronic hashism.
Did you say pass it then? No, look, I just explained about the sort of supporting local dealer thing and everything like so. Heavy geezers around, man. I can't be fucking robbing their trade and stuff like that, you know. I can't pass it. Anyway, it's against the law. And I don't trust anyone who doesn't bogart the joint. Anyway, you know, I wouldn't have trusted Clinton as soon as he passed it to me. Of course, maybe he didn't realize he was breaking the law, passing a joint to someone. I do. Well, but he did break the law, didn't he? He says he catches hold of this joint, he fucking smokes it, all right, he doesn't inhale it because he's fucking stupid, then he passes it on to someone else, so he broke how many fucking laws there right away. And his only excuse is, I didn't get high. And of course you don't have to inhale to get high, it'll be absorbed by the mucous membranes in your mouth, right? What a twat again. Now, I don't mind interruptions at all. As you can tell, in fact, I often welcome them, but I do welcome them always, actually, but it does mean I have to start from the top of the page again, right, because I've completely fucking forgotten. I don't think it's much, you know, but I've completely forgotten where the fuck I got to. Habitual use of hashish quickly brings on the condition known as chronic hashism. The countenance of the chronic hashish user is invariably gloomy. His hair is disheveled. His eyes are wild. And the expression of his face is stupid. The chronic hashish user is silent. The chronic hashish user has no muscular power. The chronic hashish user suffers from fits of tremblings and convulsions. The chronic hashish user suffers from physical ailments, heart troubles, and respiratory problems. The chronic hashish user hallucinates and experiences illusions as to time and place. The chronic hashish user has no memory whatsoever. The chronic hashish user completely loses his desire for sex. The chronic hashish user's intellectual faculties weaken and the whole organism decays. The chronic hashish user eventually becomes hysterical, neurasthenic, and finally completely insane. In Egypt, chronic hashish users are known as hashashis. A term of reproach in our country meaning useless derelicts. Hashish is beyond any doubt the principal cause of insanity occurring in Egypt.
So I earnestly request all delegates present to give this question of hashish their best and most undivided attention.
For I know the mentality of Oriental peoples, and I am afraid it might be said that the question of hashish was not dealt with merely because hashish did not affect the safety of Europe. Well, it's good to know, isn't it?
Good to know why we can't smoke dope. But what do we do about it? What do we do about that being the reason we can't smoke dope?
See, I think the only way of dealing with it, it's something I learned in prison, I suppose, is stop taking it all so seriously. All right? All you fucking dope smokers out there, stop taking yourselves so fucking seriously.
Do you think it really matters in the grand scheme of things, right? The grand scheme of the universe, that we pay fortunes for stuff that doesn't even get a store? Does it matter?
Does it matter if some of us are banged up in prison and lose our freedom for years? Who gives a fuck? Does it matter? Does it matter if our kids are expelled from schools, have their careers wrecked, and their lives ruined? Does it fucking matter?
Does it fucking matter if those suffering from multiple sclerosis and other ailments are denied the therapeutic benefits of a naturally recurring herb?
Does it fucking matter? All right, there's a downside. Yeah. Accept that, there's a downside. But you have to balance that downside. To be fair, for fair play. You have to balance that downside against our most honorable of motivations in making hashish illegal in the first place. To reduce the Egyptian insanity rate. Now, being a bit of a perverse fucker, right? I researched the Egyptian insanity rate.
Found out that since 1928, the Egyptian insanity rate has absolutely skyrocketed.
Didn't work there, won't work here, won't work anywhere. All right, I better go now. Thanks a lot, yeah.